As Chieftain Akrog marched towards the battle, he was calm. And not only because the freed Bonekin would be fighting alongside them. Why were a few greenskins when they were seeking to revive a fallen god? The skies were clear when Akrog spotted two camps in the distance, both nestled in a deserted Brittlebone city. One smelled like Moonkin, a nug in the warriors Akrog had sent for. The other stunk of greenskins.
Chieftain Akrog Bonecrusher. Mugwa prays. Anug is get worried.
I'm Master Anug far-traveled. Mugwa prays. Anug and the warriors found their way here well.
Depends on what he mean by well. The warriors is get hungry back at the tribe camp, Chieftain. The hunts bring less and less food. They meet Iamak and Kograk on the way with Nurbok. Nurbok speak not to Anug, but the eyes say he betray Moonkin. Is that true, Chieftain? Anug cannot believe.
It is true, but they can speak of that later. What about the Chainers? Is that their camp farther north?
It is, Chieftain, and they is many. They build their camp inside the Brittlebone city walls, so it is hard to attack.
Has he seen who is leading them?
He have. It is just one by the looks of it. And the eyes hear the greenskins speak about how trolls kill another in Goblin Cave.
That must have been the ancient Nurbok was with. So he was part of the Horde, just like Kabrak said.
The bones never lie. And it hurts not to have a wise, slightly fat bonekin chieftain to read them. With the ancient dead, this fight will be a lot easier, chieftain. It was wise to go after Nurbok first.
Well, it is a tough fight either way.
Now, give Akrog a better picture of the battlefield. What is there to know about this Brittlebone city?
As Anug said before, the Chainers build their trap camp north from here, on the other side of the ruin. Now that the Moonkin workers and warriors is here, they will probably attack soon. Their walls look strong, but I cannot see one that not look like it is defended. If the Moonkin is smart about it, they may be...
Could smash it?
That is right, Moonblood Noeg. Smash it. Also, this place is Brittlebone City long ago, so there is a lot of scrap around to collect. That will make things easier.
Not just scrap. Hex power, too. The bones sense it. Where? In the very ground itself. If the Bonekin build a shrine near the old Brittlebone temples, they can use this hex power to shape offerings faster. This will be useful.
Seems like Mugwa smiles on them. The blood for the tribe for the blood. Kin, it is time for battle.
The tribe needs more wood, chieftain. For the tribe. This belongs to the Moonkin now.
Mugwa has blessed the Moonkin with growth.
The eye of the tribe sees. The tribe's land grows now. Ready for action. The Moonkin is done can grow. The eye of the tribe sees. The tribe's land grows. They take care of it. Be not worried. He crushed them now. What should he be doing now? Destroy them!
That must be one of the old temples Kabrak spoke of, no? Let them build an eye of the tribe and a shrine. What is needed of him?
They run from Noag.
This looks interesting.
Akrog is listening.
Interesting. Probably. action.
Must be the brittle wall Anna told them about. Careless, careless greenskins. Let them crush it.
for scrap. Be here.
Oscar is listening. Great. More problems to smash.
Enemies are attacking.
What you say?
action. This way? The tribe learned something new. Can a troll not rest for a moment? Going now. Sharp tusks and thick hide. Eat it. Get ready. Tear their fangs out!
Greenskin will answer the Moonking's questions now.
The Moonkin, the Moonkin, the Moonkin. Centuries in freedom, and you grunters still talk like bloody slaves.
The chainer is cocky for someone bleeding freely into the dust.
And you're cocky for someone whose tribe whose tribe will be all ashes by the next moon. Chieftain Akrog Bone Crusher.
He knows Akrog's name.
Of course I do. We also know about the riot at the Paleskin Fortress, and that you and your grunters were behind it. And trust me, once we find out where that tribe camp of yours is, you'll pay for every brethren you killed.
The only reason Akrog went to that fortress was to free the kin that the chainers tried to steal and enslave. The Greenskins brought this death upon themselves.
You can't steal a warg who runs from his owner. You take it back home.
Trolls are not wargs. They are not animals.
Oh yeah? You smell, you bite, you shit. What's the difference? Tell me, Chieftain Akrog, do you ask the deer you kill and eat for their permission? Or those iron beaks you tame? No. The strong conquer the weak, as that is the way of the struggle. That's how it always has been and how it always will be. But if you were smart enough to understand that, Zarak wouldn't have made you the slaves of the orcs in the first place.
Zarak go rot. Magua is the goddess of the trolls.
Calm, little Moonblood. This greenskin is not worth his anger.
Even if the Greenskins find the Moonkin tribe camp, and they will not, the Moonkin will crush them like they crushed his horde and his kin at the fortress.
Then you'll still have the Paleskins to deal with.
What paleskins?
All right. How would you know? When the Tusk Hunters brought the Bonekin trolls to us after they raised that shrine, they struck a pact. Once the Chainers find out where that Moonkin tribe camp is, our horde and the forces of the Tusk Hunters will march towards them together.
Lie!
Keep telling yourself that, big one.
Nonsense. The Hunters want the Moonkin tusks, and the Chainers want the Moonkin as slaves. A troll dies when he is untusked, so there is no way the two can work together.
What if I told you the orc shamans and the hunter scryers found a way to untusk you and keep you alive?
That is not possible.
Hold on to that thought, if it gives you strength.
The Chainers will never find the tribe camp. Never.
We'll see about.
Good rotten riddance. This is bad news, though. Very bad news. If the Chainers and the Hunters truly struck a pact,
Then the only way the Moonkin can still win this is to revive the cub as soon as possible. Let them get back to the tribe camp, chieftain.
wait. Grungwar trusts the stranger's plan now?
It has nothing to do with trust. But he sees now that the cub is the last hope the Moonkin have. All this blood, all this death, it has to mean something. It has to.
Grungwar speaks true. Akrog will tell the workers to decamp. Then they will march at once. Time is running out.
Everyone is ready. They will regret this.
Akrog is listening. Moving now.
What is needed of him? More trouble from Noah.
He's going. That way.
Grandma is ready.
Akrog is ready.
Magua is less than a long kilo move kilos. The tribe sees. The tribe's land grows.
Moving now.
That maze of dust and stone gave shelter to a horde of greenskins. The chainers, seeing the Moonkin as nothing more than beasts to be enslaved, deserved every blow from the tribe's crushed sticks. As he wiped away every That maze of dust and stone gave shelter to a horde of greenskins. The chainers, seeing the Moonkin as nothing more than beasts,
Big Blood can talk.
Dark thoughts again.
It's true. Noak know how feel about Nerbok. He want to be angry, but he also cannot.
Nerbok betrayed the tribe. Little Blood has every right in the world to be angry with him.
It would Noak tell himself too, but Nerbok only mean well, no? He won't save the tribe because he love Moonkin as much as Sire, Crumple, Grumph, and Big Blood do. He just... Noak know not. Get lost in mind.
Akrog is sure Nerbok did, but it matters not. Any foolish decision can be explained. In the end, all that counts is the decision itself and the harm it does. Little Blood should save his kindness for someone else.
Only the harm it does. That make a lot of sense. Noak thank Big Blood.
That is what he is here for.
Big Blood want else?
That is all for now. Let them march.
Chieftain, how can Grandma help?
Akrog wants to understand why Nerbok despises Akrog so much. Akrog knows Nerbok had high hopes of becoming chieftain after Sire Narjak, but is that all there is to it?
The truth is, Grandma knows not.
Well, he must have some idea. Grungwar and Nurbok have been trusted ones for... how long?
Almost 400 moons now. To answer his question, perhaps it has to do with the way Nurbok chooses to respect.
What is that supposed to mean?
Well, ever since Grungwar has known Nurbok, he was all about earning respect through deeds. There's nothing Nurbok respects more than someone who earned his position in the tribe through strength and tenacity. And it is not only about judging others. Nurbok has the same thinking about himself. Early on, before he became the great warrior, he would spend every single day with his crush stick, practicing. And while he was not ashamed of getting wounded, he was ashamed when he thought it was a mistake easily avoided. Tusks, thinking about it. He was so restless, chieftain. Every day he would wake up long before sunup and practice.
And then a green cubling who hears voices in the wind comes along and becomes chieftain just because he shares Narjak's blood.
It is true. Grungwar knows Akrog has worked hard and bled a lot for the tribe. But he imagines that in Nurbok's eyes, it was not anywhere near enough to deserve such an honor.
Even if that is true, it is foolish for Nurbok to hate Akrog because of it. Akrog wanted not to become chieftain. Narjak chose him.
Very true. And Grungwar said none of this to excuse Nurbok's behavior. Nurbok will come around, chieftain. There is nothing he treasures more than the tribe. And the moment he realizes Akrog feels the same, he will learn to respect Akrog. Grungwar can feel it.
Akrog believes Grungwar never told him. Where learned he to read?
Perhaps the chieftain asked before, but Grungwar wanted not to tell. Is that right?
Well, it is true. But Grungwar need not tell if he would rather not. Akrog understands.
No, Akrog is chieftain now, and Grungwar feels comfortable to share this. Just understand that he might leave out certain details. It is a long and dark tale.
Of course.
Well then, let them get this over with. Grungwar was a slave of the Brittlebones, the Dark Elves of Shaldan, to be precise.
Grungwar was a slave. That is...
shocking. Disgraceful. Grungwar knows. Yet it happened. He was a freshly born cubling back then, and he was on the way back to the tribe camp with Four Eyes, who had taken him to a shrine of Magua for her blessing, one of them being his sire. They accidentally stumbled into a dark elf camp, and... well...
they took them prisoner.
They killed Grungwar's sire, and one of the eyes, Barnak, and took Grungwar and the other eye with him.
Akrog is sorry to hear that.
It is fine.
So, he was a slave.
The other eye, Maka, was made one. And Grungwar never saw her again. Grungwar, on the other hand, was given to some Dark Elf chieftain, an Archon, as they call them. Zahal Tuwar was his name.
And that Dark Elf Archon taught Grungwar how to read.
Far from it, no. That Dark Elf Archon tossed Grungwar into a dungeon with a dozen other interesting specimens, and forgot about him. But that is not the point of this story. What matters is that Grungwar grew very weak in that dungeon. He will not lie, chieftain. It was a dark time. There was no ray of sunlight, and every day felt the same, like a black swamp that went on forever. It would have probably been the end of Grungwar, if not for that one servant. A doe she was. To this day, Grungwar knows her name not.
A brittlebone doe helped him.
At first, she only brought him food every other day. But after a while, she came more often. It is shameful to admit these feelings for our brittlebone, but Grungwar was so grateful to her. He wanted to thank her, but he could not, because he had not even learned to speak. So she taught him, scratching and pointing.
Scratching and pointing. That was enough for Grungwar to learn so much.
Well, the chieftain must remember that Grungwar was in that dungeon for a very long time. With each of her visits, he started to repeat the sounds she made. And he studied the scratchings in the dust until they made sense. He learned only simple things at first, but with time, the words got more complex. And she even brought him simple Dark Elven stories to read. It was a strange time. Looking back on it now, Grungwar often wonders if it all really happened. But it did, and Grungwar's knowledge is the totem of that.
And how was Grungwar freed?
That is another painful, long story. And one Grungwar would rather not share right now. He hopes the chieftain understands.
And what about that kind, brittlebone servant? Saw Grungwar her ever again?
No, because she died. The Archon had her killed when he found out what she had done. They're vile beings, these Dark Elves, chieftain. Even worse than the Tusk Hunters. But
All right. Akrog understands. Akrog has been wondering about this a long time. How decided Grungwar and Nurbok to form the bond of trust?
That is a difficult question. Grungwar is not certain they ever truly decided it. When two trolls go through enough together, something like that simply happens.
That is not quite true, is it? One must still decide to form the bond of trust.
One must ask the question, and the other must agree it is true. But the kinship and the trust, that grows on its own.
So Grungwar and Nurbok have been through much together.
Oh, far too much. Even the greatest warrior needs the support of an elder to mend his wounds. And without Nurbok's mastery of the crush stick, he would have died many times. Nurbok was death, and Grungwar was life. And together, nothing could stand in their way.
When was the first time Grungwar and Nurbok fought together? Can Grungwar remember?
Oh, he can. It is hundreds of moons ago, but the images are still there, clear in Grungwar's mind. A pack of greenskins ambushed the Moonkin while they were feasting in Magwa's honor. Taken by surprise, the warriors were slow to react. But not Nurbok. His crush stick was in his hand as soon as the greenskins attacked.
So the greenskins snuck past the eyes.
No, they killed them. Every single one. It was a well-planned attack, and even though the old Eye Master at the time did everything right, the greenskins were simply too quick and too cunning. Akrog's sire, Narjak, was away on a hunt. That is probably why they picked that night. Looking back, Grungwar realizes that battle might have well been the end of the Moonkin, if not for Nurbok. He fought back the first pack of the greenskins, and when they retreated, he ran after them.
Alone?
Alone. It was reckless and bold, and even with his strength and skill, Grungwar knew Nurbok would not survive. So he followed them, even though the kin all urged him to stay back.
And they won. They killed all those greenskins by themselves.
Ha! Not even Narjak could have done that. No, they killed not all of them. But Nurbok's crush stick and Grungwar's totems bought the rest of the tribe time to prepare. The other warriors joined in, and the greenskins fled. After the battle, Grungwar and Nurbok always stayed together in a fight. There was not even anything ceremonial about it. They just did, because it felt right. Alone, they were one great warrior and one powerful elder. Together, they were unstoppable. Listen to old Grungwar ramble on. That comes with age, he supposes. One prefers to dwell in the days when the hide was less thin and the tusks less brittle.
Akrog understands that depending on each other in a battle can form that kind of bond. But is the trust still there after the battle?
Well, certainly not for everyone. But for Grungwa and Nerbok it was, it is true. The more time they spent with each other, the more they realized that it was not only in battle where they enhanced each other so well. Nerbok is fierce, when Grungwa is sometimes too reluctant. And Grungwa is calm, when Nerbok is sometimes too hot-headed. Come to think of it, it is not too different from Zaska and Akrog.
That is true. Akrog understands. And who decided to strike the bond of trust then? Was it Grungwa?
No, it was Nerbok. After the death of his sires.
He lost his sires.
Oh, it is another dark tale. Nerbok's sires were killed by brittlebone hunters and left to rot under the sun. Every troll is kin. But Grungwa must not tell Akrog that losing the same blood often hurts worse, no matter how honorable a troll is. For Nerbok, it was terrible, and he blamed himself. His sires had been very old by then, unable to defend themselves, and he had been out protecting some Moonkin workers. He had not even the chance to say farewell.
Akrog imagines Grungwa helped him through his grief.
He tried his best. Grungwa will not lie. It was not easy. Nerbok refused to talk and got angry quickly. But Grungwa just stayed and waited, ready to listen. It took a long time, but finally, Nerbok spoke.
What said he?
Many things, which Grungwa will keep to himself. But he remembers the two words Nerbok ended on, and he always will. Never again. Nerbok swore never to let another kin be killed by a brittlebone, and that was it. A day later, Nerbok asked Grungwa to be his trusted one. Grungwa accepted without batting an eyelid.
Akrog sees. He thanks Grungwa for sharing this.
Gladly. Anything to help Akrog see that Nerbok is not the mean-spirited rot-tusk Akrog thinks he is.
Akrog never said he was a rot tusk.
But he thought it, and it is fine. Grungwa would probably feel the same way if he were in Akrog's hide. Just remember, there is often more to a kin than meets the eye.
There is something Akrog has been meaning to ask. Why let Grungwa Zaska believe that Grungwa wanted him to die? It just makes no sense to Akrog.
What difference makes it? What is done is done.
It makes a big difference to Akrog. Why let Zaska hate Grungwa for so long?
Zaska would have hated Grungwa no matter what. It was easier to let him believe Grungwa was the one to suggest getting rid of Zaska.
Easier for Grungwa? That makes no sense.
It was easier for Zaska. Akrog knows how much Zaska loved and respected Akrog's sire, almost as much as Akrog did. Narjak was his hero, even though he liked not to show it.
And Grungwa wanted not to tear a wound in Zaska's memory of sire.
Maybe.
That is honorable.
Ah, please. It was just words.
Akrog has some bone dust for Grungwa's plant.
Grungwa was about to ask. He saw Akrog collect it. All right. A sprinkle here, a sprinkle there. And there they go. Magua is truly glorious.
Well, Akrog wishes Magua would bless their weapons instead.
Grungwa understands. But not everything must be made to crush, Chieftain. The leaves can still hold more of it, though. Grungwa feels it.
And they will keep looking. That is it.
Of course, duty awaits.
Akrog is listening.
By Mugwa's sparkling udders, the chieftain deems the small tusk worthy of a conversation. How can Zaska help?
Is being less of a fool mouth a possibility?
Afraid not. That sickness is as incurable as the rot. Now, say, what is on his mind?
Akrog just wanted to see how Zaska is feeling.
Hungry, annoyed, and ugly.
A perfectly normal day then.
Right.
Zaska seems to put a lot of trust into the stranger's plan.
Zaska does? That is the first time he heard that.
Well, he proposed the plan, no?
That is right. But that means not that Zaska blindly trusts the stranger and the cub. Thing is, if a troll is drowning in beak shit, then he would be a fool to refuse a helping hand only because it has blisters, no?
That is a strange comparison.
Even a master hunter sometimes misses a throw. Look, the point is, the Moonkin have run out of options, as much as old Grunwar refuses to admit it. Zaska is curious about this cub and this temple, that is true. But he is as nervous about all this as Trusted One is.
All right then. Zaska seems to like this place, no? Akrog has seen him admire it.
Well, admire is a big word, but it is true. He cannot help but respect brittlebone craftsmanship. Imagine what it takes to build a place like this. And here the Moonkin are, slapping their crude shelters onto the stone. It is like sprinkling shit onto a masterful totem.
Akrog would not go so far as calling the troll shelter shit, but Zaska has a point.
Of course he does, but worry not. Zaska wants not to stay here forever. The home of the Moonkin is out there, in the jungles and the swamps, not up on a mountain.
Very true. So, Zaska, tell him, how is it being the chieftain's trusted one?
Oh, it is everything Zaska dreamed it would be. The honor, the excitement, all those Moonkin does clamoring for Zaska's attention.
Good to hear. Tusks, would Zaska have thought that Akrog would be chieftain one day?
Honest answer, he did.
Truly? How so?
Because Akrog was the only one who took a stand for Zaska when the other cubs shunned him.
Zaska makes it sound as though Akrog did that without batting an eyelid. It took him moons to step up.
But he did, and Zaska will never forget it. Zaska is no elder, but if he has learned one thing, then it is that most kin are twigs in the wind. They bend in whichever direction it blows. Had the Chrome Trolls not approved of the cubs shunning Zaska, they would not have done it. They just did what everyone else did, because defying the wind takes strength. In that way, Zaska even has a bit of admiration for Nurbok. He would hate Zaska, even if everyone else accepted him. He is an insufferable rot tusk, but at least he has a spine, as does Akrog.
Zaska makes it sound as though only Akrog helped Zaska, and not the other way around. When Akrog got trapped in that cave, Zaska
helped him out of there. It is true, but it is not the same. It is easy being the trusted one of someone who is more respected. The other way around is what takes courage. So, no, Zaska was not surprised Narjak chose Akrog as chieftain. Akrog always had it in him, and Zaska saw that, just like Narjak did.
And here they are.
And here they are.
May this bond of trust last forever.
It rotten better. Now enough of the sweet words, all right? They have a god to revive.
This may sound odd, but Akrog just wanted to tell him he is sorry about all those kin who shun Zaska. They are fools.
Anything else?
Said Akrog anything wrong?
No, just nothing new. Seriously, Akrog, how often have they had this talk? Zaska gives not a beak shit about those fools, so let them foul talk and sneer all they want.
Is that so?
Is what so?
Cares Zaska truly not? To Akrog, it seems like it still hurts him.
Well, There are nicer things than being forbidden to mate because one's blood is inferior, and getting insulted 5 times a day for sure. But considering that this is never going to change because, oh shame, Sasuke has no Moonkin blood, what is he supposed to do? Curl up and cry?
Well, perhaps Sasuke is right. Perhaps those fools are incorrigible.
Rotten right they are. All they see are Sasuke's small tusks and his worm-eater blood. He could save the whole rotten tribe from extinction, and they would still find a way to make him look bad. Now, can they please stop? They have had this talk, Akrog, many, many times, and it never gets more pleasant.
Akrog has to go.
Sasuke will not stop him.
Chieftain Cabrax. Akrog welcomes him to the Moonkin's strange new home.
Strange indeed, Chieftain Akrog. Cabrax senses much evil here. He tastes corruption in the air. Pah!
The Moonkin has no intention of lingering here for longer than needed, but it is the best place for them to be right now.
The best place, or the only place? They must lead the Bonekin and the Moonkin away from this temple of despair. The sooner the better. The corruption Cabrax consents will destroy the trolls if they stay too long. There is no value in hiding here forever.
Akrog can sense it too. It feels like it is growing. But the trolls must stay here until they are ready to fight back. Akrog can only hope that his tribe suffers less here than they would out in the open.
Then Cabrax hopes they will be ready very soon. Oh, and one more thing. About the Moonkin wounded and the rot victims. Cabrax might have an idea how to help them. It is true. Crab dung.
That was a strange joke, even for Sasuke's mind.
It sounds like it, no? Cabrax is not jesting at all. Crab dung extract is one of the most powerful herbal remedies known to the Bonekin. And while it is true that it not always smells nice, it has kept them hale and strong for many 100 moons. Akrog should go and find some crab dung when they march again on their quest for echoes, or whatever they call them. It will help.
All right. It is worth a thought. Knows Cabrax where they can find crab dung?
Well, crabs are everywhere. But Cabrax knows of a place with lots of colonies. The Cobalt Coast. A couple of brittle bones have made their tribe camp there, so perhaps Akrog could crush them while he's at it.
All right. Akrog will see if the Moonkin can make time. First and foremost, they must focus on resurrecting the cub.
About that, is Akrog really sure? Even if they manage to resurrect that beast, how knows he it will fight for the trolls?
Frankly, Akrog knows not. But he knows that it is their only choice.
Fair point, Akrog. Fair point.
So, Chieftain Cabrax and the Bonekin have been through a lot. Are they recovering?
By the holy hide, it has been tough. Tough! Cabrax believed Mugwar could see him through any ordeal, but these last few moons have tested him, and his tribe. Cabrax hopes Mugwar will reward her trolls with some peace. At last.
If the Bonekin want peace, Akrog is not sure they came to the right place.
Cabrax understands. But peace takes many forms, Chieftain Akrog. When those cursed greenskins tried to shame Cabrax, he found the peace of Mugwar inside his mind. They treated Cabrax and his tribe like beasts. The Bonekin were filthy, starving, exhausted. Only our inner peace saved us from becoming beasts.
That is an interesting and strange way to see it.
Not strange at all. The path of a chieftain is never clear, but Cabrax has some help. Whenever he is in doubt, Cabrax consults the bones. They tell him which path to take through the power of Mugwa.
And what told the Bones Chieftain Cabrax when he was trapped by the Greenskins?
That Cabrax need not fear. And by the Holy Hide, that was all he needed to know.
Those bones Chieftain Cabrax wears, can they tell him the future?
Not in the way that Chieftain Akrog might be thinking. When Cabrax throws the bones and reads their patterns, they do not show him exactly what is to come. No. Instead, they help Cabrax decide which of the paths that lay before him is the right one for the Bonekin.
Such guidance sounds valuable enough. How reads Cabrax the patterns?
It is hard to explain to an outsider. Cabrax spent many, many moons studying the power of these bones. If Cabrax were to throw them now, Chieftain Akrog would just see a mess on the ground. Cabrax would see a face, a weapon, or maybe an iron beak. These symbols hold great meaning for the Bonekin.
All right, Akrog must ask. With so much wisdom at their fingertips, how have the Bonekin ended up like this?
Such a question by the Holy Hide. Ah, the wisdom to follow the right path is a true gift. But the right path leads not always to happiness and freedom. The Bonekin walk the path that Mugwa has chosen for them, wherever it may lead. And Cabrax can only consult the bones about the choices he knows he has to make. The future holds surprises for us all, even the Bonekin.
Why was Mugwa's cradle the Bonekin's home? It is such a sacred place.
The chieftain thinks it was wrong to live in such a place. But he knows as well as Cabrax that Urgarth offers little welcome to a tribe of trolls in these times. By the Holy Hide, their choices are few.
That is right enough. But why Mugwa's cradle?
The Bonekin have a solemn duty to serve Mugwa. It is her will that they protect her shrine and treat it with the respect it deserves.
Have the Bonekin never questioned Chieftain Cabrax? Akrog would not blame them for being afraid of bringing enemies to a sacred place.
By the Holy Hide, of course. The faith of the Bonekin runs deep, and many have been worried for the safety of the shrine. When Cabrax explained how Mugwa had brought the tribe to that place, they became calm. If it is the will of Mugwa that the time of trolls is coming to an end, so be it. The Bonekin have made their peace with that. Most of them, anyway.
It is tempting to stop fighting and let the Moonkin have a few days of joy, if the end really is upon them.
Ah, but would the Moonkin allow Chieftain Akrog to stop? Cabrax thinks not. The Moonkin have not the same faith in Mugwa as the Bonekin. They will keep following Chieftain Akrog, even if it means they will suffer and grieve.
Perhaps Chieftain Cabrax speaks the truth. Akrog wishes he could offer his tribe a better choice than pain or destruction.
Chieftains bear a heavy burden. Cabrax wishes strength and wisdom for Chieftain Akrog.
Is there any advice Cabrax would like to give Akrog?
Advice? There is something, but Cabrax is not sure.
Speak true.
Very well. Akrog should consider carefully who and what he trusts. The way of the Bonekin may seem mysterious to Chieftain Akrog, but Cabrax believes it is far more reliable than following the advice of any brittle bone, and more reliable than trusting the mind of a single troll. The minds of trolls are weak.
The Moonkin have little choice but to trust the stranger, if that is what Chieftain Cabrax is getting at. If his word is true, he will help both tribes win their freedom.
And if it is not true?
Then Akrog will accept the result of his choices. And any betrayer of the Moonkin will pay a heavy price.
Well, let them hope there is no more betrayal then.
It is quite something to see the Bonekin in battle. So resourceful.
Resourceful? It is true. The Bonekin let nothing go to waste. The blood of the dead and dying gives his tribe the strength of mind to keep on fighting.
Well,
Of course. Of course.
let Akrog see.
Ah, Chieftain, Zeramak speak to pig and its same blood.
Zeramak minds not working with them.
Ah, well, it's true that Zeramak not good enough, no? And if Moonkin have better weapons when hunters...
Akrog is glad to hear that. Zeramak said he needs something. What is it?
It's true. Zeramak no Akrog like be short, so Zeramak be short. Moon...
That is nothing new, is it? The Moonkin always...
True, but Zeramak ask Anog's eyes to look for a place where extra much hex scrap is, and Iparg Zeramak no chieftain very busy keeping tribe safe. But maybe when march again that way?
All right. Akrog will...
Zeramak hope they will. Zeramak almost out of hex scrap.
Bad indeed. Well, if...
Good.
do that. Zeramak has been shaping for a long time. What is the best thing he has ever shaped?
Bestest? Tricky. Zeramak make lots. Maybe...
Mugwa's mane? Zeramak forged that? Akrog remembers it well.
No brittlebone mess with four-tusk troll. Took Zeramak long time. Worth it. Chieftain want once.
That is a kind offer, but a helmet like that...
Might be true. Chieftain not same as Narjak.
He is not sure if it scares them enough, but it is true, he is different. Akrog will... Has Anu given Zeramak the boomerang?
It true. Horrible thing. Clever though. Zeramak try it on.
Could Zeramak make more boom rocks?
As long as he careful not drop them, he can make them. Snoring master scrapper, not much help to try.
How can Zeramak make weapons and armor for the tribe?
Not easy. Takes many bits brittlebone metal to make troll shield.
Fun. It looks like hard...
True. Fun hard work. Zeramak.
Akrog is impressed that Zeramak keeps working. He has served the Moonkin for a very long time.
Rest? Never. Zeramak stay busy. Moonkin need him.
It is true, they need him. Zeramak sounds a little like Elder Greyfur. He wants not to...
Chieftain, no need say thanks.
All right, you will. The songbone Zeramak carved for Shepherd Crumb Kindsoul was...
All little Moonblood's idea. Zeramak just helped.
Where was it that Zeramak learned to make such...
Not big difference. Bone, not metal, true. But time and think. And Eric guts. Zeramak sees songbone like...
Zeramak is wise. Maybe Akrog should have him make...
True. Most Moonkin hands too chunky.
Not for long. Akrog...
Sharp tusks, thick hide. Oh, lots of scrap, chieftain.
Pretty place you've got yourself here, Sir Troll. I must admit, perhaps Stinking Troll Cave was inaccurate.
I hate to say it, but my dim-wit brother is right. Except for that gruesome corpse on the sarcophagus. Do I even want to ask what that is?
Probably best not to. Have the pig and the scrapper all they need to start shaping...
The charming Master Scrapper, you mean? Yes, we have. That is, I did, and Arthur just stood there looking daft as usual.
You were grunting for the most part, if I remember correctly. Long story short, I think working with that scrapper of yours will be just fine. He'll focus on the straightforward stuff, and we'll take care of the masterpieces. Sound fair to you?
Akrog will tell them when something needs shaping.
Do that, and we'll discuss the matter of compensation after the contract, I hope.
The pig said something about the Dark Echoes.
I did indeed. I had a chat with that lovely dark elf, the one you so ominously call the Stranger, and he told me about your method of breaking those seals. Duality magic is such an underestimated discipline of...
Wilbur thinks he could use leftover Dark Echoes to craft extremely powerful things for you. That's what he's getting at.
And I would have gotten there 1,000,000 times more eloquently than you, dear brother. But yes, that's what I mean. The more of those mystical...
All right. That is good to know.
Quite the opposite, dear Sir Troll. I thank you. A chance to utilize duality magic for one of my creations. Ah, The mere thought makes my porcine heart beat faster.
Could the pig take a look at this? Akrog found it in a temple. Grungwar said they might be plans for Hibernian weapons.
Said he such a thing, the fine gentleman? Well, let Wilbur de Falchion see the exhibit. Ugh, so much dust and grime. And what is that sticky grey stuff?
Probably droppings from the beaks. Noag was carrying the tablet when he played with them earlier today, and one of the birds took it.
What? I beg your pardon? Are you telling me that these are ironbeak excretions?
If that means droppings, then Akrog does. It is true. Why is the pig so angry? It can just wash them away.
Oh, Tiara's sensual hips. You should have seen your face, Wilbur. I'm growing more fond of your lot every day.
Yes, Wilbur, I'm sure you feel quite at home here. Ugh, disgusting. These trotters shall be rinsed in pure ambrosia once this conversation concludes. But to respond to your inquiry, your elder was correct. They do indeed look like schematics, and interesting schematics at that. These glyphs suggest an advanced understanding of...
We'll use the knowledge from these tablets to make better weapons and armor for you. Just bring them here when you find more.
That is what Akrog wanted to know. He thanks them.
Much obliged, I suppose. Now, where is that ambrosia?
Akrog is curious. How would they compare the troll things they forge to the things they used to make for Brittlebones?
Compare? I may as well compare a lump of clay with a sculpted masterpiece. It's not my intention to offend, you understand?
Wait, it's not? Tiara's knotted knockers. There really is a first time for everything.
Oh, Arthur, always so vulgar. To illustrate my point, for my regular work, I require about a whole month to create a single sword, forging and reforging it to perfection, bestowing its surface with the most intricate patterns, imbuing it with exotic magic. Here, Arthur can just about manage to cobble together something heavy, sharp, and really rather ugly.
Akrog cares not what a weapon looks like. Can the scrappers' weapons be used to kill their enemies?
Well, yes. But then, so could a big, pointy rock.
The pig and the scrapper should spend some time watching the Moonkin fight. They are just as skilled with...
Good idea, Chieftain.
Come to think of it, it's an excellent idea indeed. Perhaps one of your skull crushers confuses Arthur for an enemy and smashes him into a bloody pulp. What? One may dream.
Have they forgiven each other yet?
Ha! How could I possibly forgive someone who is so completely devoid of skill? Watching him work is almost more painful than his cruel theft of my Bernadette.
Ellen's ass. How often do you want us to have this conversation? I didn't steal her.
Yes, you did! She was my heart and my soul, and you, with your foolish nincompoop antics and passably handsome face, took her from me!
Because she didn't want you.
Vile lies!
So, no forgiveness yet then. Akrog must say he is impressed with how well the pig's same blood is learning from the pig. The things he forges, they are not bad.
Not bad? Well, that's a dubious compliment, but I'll take it. Glad to be of service, Sir Troll.
So eager to please. I wonder what Bernadette would say if she could see you now, bowing and scraping before the Troll Chieftain. Wait, she'd probably be too busy laughing.
At me? Or at the shrill pot-bellied pig squeaking instructions into my ears?
Of course at you. My porcine predicament would likely unleash a torrent of sorrow at the injustice of my affliction. Bernadette is a kind soul, and she can tell a suffering gentleman when she sees one.
Ah, well, maybe you're right. Maybe she would like you if she saw you now.
You think?
Yes, of course. You're more handsome now than you were ever before.
Why, by the... imbecile! Imposter! Kin traitor!
Easy now, Wilbur. Get any more heated, and you might just turn into bacon.
Ha! How funny. do you want a pat on the back for this unprecedented display of wit and eloquence, dear brother?
Is it as difficult to work together as they feared?
Oh, my trolloid companion, you have no idea. Every moment is like a waking nightmare, chieftain. I might as well try teaching my skills to a dead orc.
Actually, I think that last piece turned out rather well. Perhaps I'm finally getting the hang of this.
Yes, if by rather well you mean as ragged as a tramp and as weak as your willpower.
Oh, come on, Wilbur. I think we're actually working well together. We should have tried this years ago. If only you hadn't been so precious about your wondrous gift with metals. I could have at least helped you.
So, you would have stolen my work from me as well as my beloved. How very surprising.
Fine. Have it your way. But let's get on with it, shall we?
That sounds like a good plan. Akrog will...
How?
Hirin's hideous horse. Give it a rest, Wilbur.
Just so I understand correctly, you would have me forego the renewal next week?
You renewed our seal less than 2 moons ago. Your Reverence.
You know you don't have to call me that.
I know, but I will when we speak through projections. Look, I truly appreciate all you have done for me, but it's not necessary. If I am the High Priestess of Nihalf, I need to act like one, not rely on Hierophant Ishara to solve every one of my problems.
Fine, then. Let's talk problems. Have you disciplined Brother Dario?
I spoke with him. It's all good now.
Insubordination isn't just some peccadillo, Galia. It's a spark in a savannah. You've got to stomp out the fire before it spreads. And
Marek was right.
who is Marek? And about what is he right?
Marek is someone I can talk to, and he predicted you'd lecture me again. Look, Ishara, I know you don't have much trust in my methods, but I know what I'm doing, alright? You see a monster lurking in every dark corner, when most of the times it's really just a shadow. Sometimes you've just got to have faith in people.
I don't think it's about those seals. She just wants to see the High Priestess Galia.
Ah, Galia. It's still beyond me why she got chosen as High Priestess, and not that man, Dario.
Wait, is that a serious question?
Why wouldn't it be?
Well, I mean, it's rather obvious, isn't it? Galia is Ishara's daughter.
What?
Well, figuratively, not in the flesh. Think about it. Ishara has been pampering Galia ever since she joined the Sacred Seal. Brother Marius thinks it's because Ishara is barren.
Ishara's breath, will you speak a little more quietly?
All right, all right.